that one of the committee's bigger fish, Mark Meadows, a former congressman himself, and of course, Trump's former chief of staff, has decided to skip out on his deposition tomorrow. That reverses a deal he made with the committee. Today, Meadows explained why he just can't cooperate.
The committee was fully intending to continue to press forward, asking about executive privilege items, things that are protected by that.
Mark Meadows must have lost his damn mind. The former White House chief of staff is suing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her colleagues on the January 6th Congressional Committee. Welcome into TYT's Overruled. I am your host, Adrienne Lawrence. In a lawsuit filed on Wednesday in D.C. federal court, Meadows demanded Pelosi and her colleagues on the January 6th Congressional Committee stop with their subpoenas, asking the former White House chief of staff for his records as well as other documents. In the lawsuit, Mark Meadows says, Mr. Meadows, a witness, has been put in the untenable position of choosing between conflicting privilege claims that are of constitutional origin and dimension and having to either risk enforcement of the subpoena issued to him or alternatively, unilaterally abandoning the former president's claim of privileges and immunities. Meadows claims to have handed over thousands of records to the Congressional Committee. That's 1,100 documents and 6,800 total pages, all non-privileged, mind you, and 2,300 text messages and metadata from his personal cell phone. Now, who knows if that's completely legit? Mark Meadows could have handed over coupons to Pep's Pizza and claimed that that was responsive to congressional inquiries. We don't know. What we do know is that Meadows is claiming that Congress's requests for phone data and records are overly broad and unduly burdensome. And that's just translation for legal terms, kind of just meaning that you're doing too much. And while we don't know if Congress is doing too much, is it something that a court should probably decide? We do know that Mark Meadows is doing just about too little, arguably, as the man did not appear for his deposition on Wednesday before Congress, despite previously saying that he would be cooperating with Congress. Now, Mark Meadows went ahead and flipped the switch and decided to go ahead and change his stance after he released his book, which didn't necessarily paint Trump in the best of lights. Needless to say, we are now here where Meadows has filed the civil lawsuit against Congress, trying to get some resolution on whether those congressional subpoenas are indeed invalid because of an executive privilege. Now, while Trump's former chief of staff can't necessarily stop Congress from holding him in contempt, what he can do is try to use this civil lawsuit as a delay for those criminal contempt charges. So kind of picture it like this. Mark Meadows is held in contempt of Congress, and what he's going to do is have his lawyers rush before the D.C. federal courts and say, well, there's already this civil lawsuit filed trying to resolve this issue that is essentially the underlying basis of the criminal suit. So why don't we let this civil lawsuit that Meadows just filed go forward to decide whether the executive privilege actually attaches here? That's kind of his angle. And hey, there might be a judge in D.C. federal court who falls for it and says, yes, let's resolve this civil suit first before this criminal suit goes forward. Who knows? But it is something that we're going to have to see play out. So that's it. What do you think? Do you think that the courts are maybe going to play into Mark Meadows' delay tactic, or that maybe they're going to go ahead and let both cases go forward, or just, scrap it in terms of the civil case and go forward with that criminal case that may be pending if Congress goes ahead and holds him in contempt? You let me know in the comments below. Hit the like and follow button, and thanks for watching.